Hello, in this video we're going to do something a little bit different than we usually do. We're going to compare and contrast different pickups, and namely Japanese pickups from the 1960s. Japanese pickups came in many varieties from the 60s and from many manufacturers. Sometimes you can identify a manufacturer based on pickups. Sometimes you cannot, because those pickups were used across different manufacturers. A lot of, from what I've read at least, a lot of little different mom and pop operations were making pickups as well. So they come in so many varieties. It's really a smorgasbord if you're a collector of interesting Japanese things, because there's always something new to find. But in this case today we're going to look at several different types of Japanese pickups, and what we're going to do is we're going to use a couple of control subjects that we can contrast them with. And in this case we're going to use a Fender American Standard Stratocaster. This is a 40th anniversary one from 1993-94, and we're going to go into a Fender Deluxe Tweed from 1951. And we'll see what kind of tone we get with a Stratocaster first, which is something that we should all know and recognize by now. It's been on a million different recordings. But we'll take this tone and you can contrast and compare. I'm not going to touch any of the settings on the amplifier. I'm just going to unplug and plug into the next Japanese guitar so that we can see exactly what's going on in terms of gain structure coming out of the pickups, and also in terms of subtle things like microphonics and how much high-end response there is, how much low-end response. So you should be able to compare, at least compare and contrast those things somewhat. Now you need to keep in mind as we go forward that there is compression on this video camera, so loudness, you may not get a definite sense of loudness as a result of the compression, because everything's going to be compressed into more or less one loudness on the camera, but you will get a sense of the different tonal qualities. You'll also want to take into consideration the setups of the guitars as we go along. Not every pickup is going to sound the same as the last one, so if you look at a type of pickup that I display here, you may get that same exact pickup on a different guitar. It may sound completely different because it was wound on a different day on different equipment by a different person and went into a different guitar. So keep those things in mind too. This isn't the end-all be-all of all comparisons of Japanese pickups by any means, but we're going to go through a few different common ones and a couple of exceptional ones, and look at those. So let's take a look first at listen first at the Stratocaster through the Deluxe, and then we'll go from there. That's the all familiar neck pickup. Here's neck middle. Got that little quack. Middle position. Middle bridge. And bridge position. Okay, now let's check out the first of our Japanese guitars. This is about a 1966 or 67 Hoshino made Truetone. Truetone was Western Auto brand. Hoshino is the same company that made and still makes today Ibanez guitars and Tama drums. And if you look at this pickup closely, you'll see that it has a a reddish sort of sparkle in the middle, and that's the same material they were using to cover Tama drums from that era. But this is kind of an unusual pickup in my neck of the woods. You don't see a lot of Hoshinos around here. You see a lot of Teiscos and a lot of Kawais. Not a lot of Hoshinos. But let's check this one out. And again, I have not touched anything on the amplifier. One other thing you need to realize with Japanese guitars, sometimes the tone knob is backwards. On this one it happens to be the correct way, or at least I say correct, but it's the same way that you normally would associate with American guitars, and that all the way up is all the way bright, and all the way down is all the way darker in tone. But some guitars are not like that. Now I'll show you one example here in a bit that's not like that. So if you get one Japanese guitar that just sounds real muddy at first, try turning your tone knob all the way down, because that might brighten it up. A lot of times they had those wired in reverse. One thing I will say about this right off the bat, it seems to... We'll do a little microphonic test here. You can tap on the pickups, and there is a little bit of microphonics, and I could probably even yell into this thing and get a bit of a microphone effect going on through the amplifier. But I think a lot of times that actually helps the tone in a way, because it gives you that sort of dirty blues sort of thing going on. Sort of an unrefined sound. About a 1967 Hoshino with the red sparkle pickup. Let's go to the next one. Again, we're not touching anything on the amplifier. This example is about a 1968 or so Sakai made Japanese guitar. This one has a pickup on it that is used a lot in, and you can see my reflection there on my Christmas tree. This one has a pickup that's used a lot in Teisco guitars as well. It has the adjustable pole pieces, and it has 3 slits, one on the bottom and 2 on the top. It's also completely chrome, and it is surface mounted. So there's really not any adjusting, not much adjusting it up and down. You can adjust it, but it doesn't have a whole lot of throw. So usually you have to set the guitar up according to where you want the pickup, and that's what I've done here. I've actually shimmed the neck on this example and set the string height more or less by that, and then tweaked it with the adjustable pole pieces, which are nice to have. But we'll do a quick, and this one again is in the neck position. So doing a direct compare and contrast, if you're fast forwarding or rewinding between these clips, will not be exact, because the last guitar was kind of more in the middle position. So keep that in mind also as we go forward. This one definitely has lower output, and also this is one of those examples where the tone knob from the factory is wired backwards. So rolling it, turning it all the way up actually rolls off the highs. So yeah, a little bit of a lower output, and you can kind of tell that, probably tell that through the video, but I can definitely tell it here in the room that it has a lower output. It's a little more of a calm pickup. But let's go to the next one here. This is about a 1967, around the time that Kawai merged with Teisco. Kawai actually bought out Teisco in 1967, and they merged the two companies. This one is a Deca labeled example, and Deca is probably for the old timers, you know that Deca was a record company. They actually produced guitars on contract through these guys for a little while. I guess they thought they might bump up some revenues or something. They were in the record business anyway, so they thought, hey, we'll put some of these in the record stores and sell them through the record stores. But this example has the pretty ubiquitous Teisco Kawai pickup that you see quite often, with the round adjustable pole pieces and the chrome outside and the black middle portion. We'll check this out. This one's actually a 2 pickup, so we'll get to check out both of these. This is the bridge. Position. We'll do a quick microphonics test. And most of these Japanese pickups are going to be somewhat microphonic. So if you're going to take this on a world tour on big stages or something like that, you probably will want to pull these pickups out and drop them in and pot them in some wax. And then that microphonics will pretty much all but go away. But you would need to do that if you're going to get it on a big loud stage, and if you don't want it to just squeal and feed back on you. These really would be best for recording tracks or sitting around the living room or jamming with friends in smaller settings. But if you get these up on a big loud rock stage, a lot of times they'll squeal and feed back on you if you don't pot the pickups. But that was the bridge. Now let's go to the neck. Again, we got some microphonics there. Let's try both pickups at the same time. Actually, a big brawny, beefy tone from that. So that's about a 1967 or so Kawai made Deca. Now let's check out another sort of ubiquitous pickup from Kawai. This one's from around 1970 or so. I've got a short in the jack on this one I need to address. Let's try to make it work. But this one has the this style of pickup. There are no pole pieces. You'll see there are 4 slits on the 2 on the top and 2 on the bottom. It's also fully encased in chrome casing, and again, it's a surface-mounted pickup. But we'll start with the bridge. This guitar is you'll notice is an SG copy around 1969 and 1970. The guitar market was in pretty big turmoil. A lot of companies had merged. A lot of American companies, long-standing ones, had gone out of business by this time. Valco was included in that, and the Japanese makers slowly started moving toward making copies of American stuff as opposed to doing the wild, crazy, you know, sort of this thing, which I prefer, to be honest, because they were doing their own thing at this point, and you can tell that there's a lot of creativity in that, as opposed to just making, you know, copies for the American market for sale. But yeah, let's check out these pickups. Now these actually have a lot of output. Microphonics is not overwhelming, but it is there. I don't know if it's coming through on the video though, but it's a lot louder than the previous pickup as well. That's the bridge pickup. Here is the neck pickup. Both pickups together. So yeah, I would say overall, in terms of output, these pickups probably win in this room. In terms of tone, you can make your own judgment. I will probably do more videos like this in the future. I may add to this video as well. Not even quite sure yet, to be honest. I've got several other Japanese guitars with wildly different pickups, so we may do a few more like this and compare and contrast with stuff that we know. So I hope you've enjoyed this video, and please subscribe to see more in the future. Thank you.